So, hit and run. What do we got to say about it? Who wants to start
Yeah.
off?
Hmm. I will.
Dimitri. Okay,
Oh yes.
Cam, go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Good.
let's introduce ourselves because some people might not know who we are.
That, that's
I'm
sweet.
Dorothy.
I'm Cameron.
I'm Dimitri.
And Dimitri came up blank. Say something again, Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Oh, there you go. Here you
Okay, cool. All right, Cam, go ahead. What do you got to say about $1 Million Show?
go. $1 Million Show. I loved how it started off with all the intros to For You, 1999, and Let's Go Crazy, and then it went into the actual song. The song for me is kind of like going into the circus, like welcome to the show, with the band leader with a big old hat and stuff, like just introducing you to everything big and grand that's about to come your way and stuff like that. I think it's a good introductory song for this project.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like a warm,
Especially, go ahead.
it's like a warm up to me.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you said with the intro being from older songs, kind of introducing you back to where he came from and where he's at now. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
and it was
Yeah, it's
very
definitely
telling.
like a
Dimitri.
reminder of. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
It's
go
like a reminder of like you said, from then to now, and then whatever the future may be.
Right.
ahead.
Yep. And then it goes right into Shut This Down, which is it's a track that just goes hard. I
Mm,
don't know. I don't even know what to say about that one.
that song smacked me in my face. It did. I mean, I was in my car when I first heard it, and I was like,
Get out.
"Ugh, oh my God, this is the type of song I love right here." Just the hard-hitting
Right.
drums, how Prince was just shutting it down in terms of his performance, with his vocals and stuff. It was like My Name is Prince in a way.
Mhm.
You know, that delivery and I love the hardness. The whole song is just hard. And industrial sounding in
Yeah.
terms of the drums and the flow of the music. I just see all this darkness and the gray and gray all around with this song. With people
Definitely.
just in black and stuff over this.
Definitely. Dimitri,
Love
what do
it.
you think of it?
Hmm.
Um, it's just like the title said. He came to shut us down, and that's what he did with the song.
Basically,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
in a nutshell, that's basically what it is. Now, Cameron mentioned My Name is Prince. The track on this album that reminded me of that is Ain't About to Stop for me because it's got a little bit of Egyptian sound to it,
hmm,
and it's kind of like it sounds like it's a new anthem for him. And My Name is Prince obviously was kind of an anthem for him back in the day. So,
absolutely.
um, I mean, it's okay. Go ahead, Cameron. What you got to say about this one?
Oh, I mean, I just love. That's another one. It just continues with the flow Shut This Down, and I love the electronics with that. You're about to stop. I mean, I was like, where you come from with that? And then the breakdown at the end, the
Oh
you know
yeah.
funk and stuff. I was like, no, you did not just do that. I was like,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
I was no
Him
good.
and him and Josh definitely came hard with those two tracks, especially.
Didn't they though? Mm-mm. Lord.
What do you got to add to that one, Dimitri?
I don't have any further comment. I think Cameron did summed it up just fine.
Mr. Quiet over there. Okay.
Right?
All right. Like a Mac. What you got?
Mm.
Ooh, club full of thoughts.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So Dimitri, it sounds like you got something to say. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That has to be like my favorite line from the song. I mean, it was just like, kind of tickled me like when I heard it. You had to bring that back. Like, did he really say that?
Yeah,
I
he
thought
did.
too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Like a Mac. I definitely like this one. This is one of my favorite tracks off the album. Um, Curly Fries and the rap throughout. I mean, wasn't too familiar with them and whatever music that they've done. But if they're doing stuff like this, then I'm cool, you know. So yeah, I like this one.
Mhm.
What do you guys think of this version of This Could Be Us?
Hmm. It's interesting. I liked it at first on its own, but I was still in an artificial age mode with that song.
Mm,
But when I heard it with the fullness of the album, that's when it finally came to life for me. Because it really does fit. I liked what
Oh, I
I liked
think.
what Joshua did. If Joshua was the one behind it, and I think he was, I liked what he did. And then with Prince adding the guitar at the end, with
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not pro with what guitars he used, but I will assume it was like rhythm and bass, and
Hmm.
just it took it to another level, and I really was feeling it once I heard it in full with the rest of Hit and Run.
What did you think of this one, Dimitri?
Um, like when I first heard it, like I like the original, but when I first heard this one, I really wasn't feeling it. Really had to grow on me. I think what really did it for me was the guitar coming
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, I like that guitar. I like this track overall when I first heard it. I don't know whether I liked it better or not than the first one, but I like the groove that's in this track. And the guitar breakdown at the end actually reminds me of what he's been doing with She's Always in My Hair live.
Mm.
So, and I like the groove that they got on that. So that's Of Tonight. That's a fun track. I don't know why he decided to take Zoe Deschanel's vocals out. If it's it was probably a business thing, but um, I like both versions of it though. I mean, it's a cool little track. At first, though, I didn't think this one fit with this album, but it actually I think it does fit pretty well with it.
Hmm. Mine too. One is like, why are you giving us a remix in the first place?
Yeah,
The song, great as it was, that I didn't see the need. And if you
right,
were going to remix, why not just add it on
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to
right.
artificial age right when you had it? But at the same time, Prince knows what he's doing. And where this album is concerned, that would be a case where I needed to shut up.
Right. At least you recognize when that time is for you, so that's good. Some people don't.
Exactly.
All right, what about the Exes Face?
Lord.
Man,
Mm,
Oh, look at that. We got some reaction. Okay, what's up?
the
Mm,
first time I heard that joint, oh my god, I must have
yeah,
played that like 5 times in a row because it was like really literally speaking to me.
mm-hmm,
hmm
yeah.
Yes. Lord, that song. That whacked me upside my behind. Really
Yeah.
did. Not ready for that the first time I heard it, and I was praying it was going to be on an album. I was praying, and when I saw that it was going to be on this one, I was like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Needed to be
Yeah,
long.
And
I was
and
hoping.
that's the Prince that I know. That bring it hardcore, like, hey, check this out type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know how anyone could not
Yeah,
like that.
and I think airplanes going by over here.
Hmm.
Okay, I think that right away I like this song. I was really hoping, like you said, that this was going to be on this album, and it fits perfect with the rest of the food. You said it's another one of those hit hard in it songs, so definitely.
Yeah.
Hard Rock Lover.
Oh yeah. Another
Yeah.
one. Another great
Yeah.
song. It's funny when I heard that song the first time, it didn't actually grab me.
Mm.
I
Hmm.
I literally had to. I literally had to turn it up from my headphones. I didn't realize it was low. And once I turned it up, then it was like, oh, okay, what?
Mhm.
The power
Yeah.
behind the
Right,
power
right.
behind that song is serious. It really is, and I'm gonna be 100% with y'all. When I hear the thrust with the guitars like that dun 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 part, it sounds like sex. It really
Basically.
does. You
Damn.
know, yes, it does. I'm
Yeah,
like,
he went there.
tell me, dirty that old Prince fools be wanting to talk about, oh, they miss him so much, he ain't here no more. He right there in that song. He right there. So it's like, sit down. He right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was it was a song just like you. It took me a couple of listens to really appreciate it, I guess. But the guitar, I mean, I appreciated that right away because that you can't mistake that guitar. And
For sure.
Yeah.
just like Dimitri was talking about on the Exes Face, I mean, and you both said it. It's like everybody talking about the old school Prince, and people that are complaining about this album not having enough real music or whatever. I mean, it's right there, and it was this whole album is guitar heavy, so that song especially. Um, I mean, that's been. I remember him saying a few years back, I think around musicology, that although he loves all music and he can play anything, um, he was finding out around that time that his real love was guitar, and ever since then, I think we've heard that because he spent a lot of time doing a lot of guitar heavy stuff, especially with his band.
I agree with you. Totally. And it's nice to hear the guitar wailing like that again.
Mhm.
It really is.
Mhm.
Mm.
All right, Mr. Nelson. Simple little remix track. I dig it. I like the guitar that's in this one too.
I won't lie. At first, I was a little disappointed when I heard it because I was
Yeah.
expecting it to be something different than what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it, but I had my own expectation. My expectation failed me, and I was just like, oh, oh, oh. But
Me
then,
too.
then as I heard it a little more, I was like, you know what? This is actually a cool song, and now I really dig it now. You know, it's one of those songs that takes you somewhere,
Yeah,
like a trip of sorts.
I
Yeah.
can see that because it actually took us kind of through a trip of artificial age because it's just samples from Leanne LaHavis' speaking parts,
Yeah.
and um, you know, I expected it to be something different too, but it kind of it kind of seemed like if we're gonna assume what he might have been thinking with this one, it just kind of seemed like maybe with her parts on artificial age, maybe calling him Mr. Nelson wasn't really the plan, and he just kind of went with it. I don't know. It just seemed like something that he was like, all right, well, I like that, and now let's do something else with it. That's the vision I had, but who knows?
Right. And I would have loved to have seen Prince play with that, on that song, like I'm Mr. Nelson kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
But I dug what it was. It was, I love clouds, so I
Hmm.
never would be mad to hear something like that again,
Right.
you know. So yeah,
Yep. Dimitri, any thoughts?
yeah.
It kind of reminds me of remember back in the day when he used to do segues?
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point because it's kind of like a break in the album real quick to remind you who this is.
Hmm.
That's
And the
yeah.
and you were talking earlier about the guitar. The guitar is really flowing on that song too.
Hmm.
I
Definitely.
liked on that song.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, 1,000 hugs and kisses. What do we
Mm,
think?
Whew.
mm-hmm.
If there's anything that I like in the world, it's a slow jam, especially a
Yeah.
Prince slow jam.
Yeah.
Amen.
And having heard the original and then to see him bring it back, and update it, didn't take away from the original too much. But man, it's
Hmm.
definitely tops.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree. That song, I have heard the original, real talk, and I never cared for it that much.
Hmm.
I didn't. I mean, I didn't think it was bad, and it was something that I remembered, but it wasn't a song that I was like, okay, that's my song either.
Right.
Because I'm the type of person, when it comes to Prince, I would rather hear Prince sing his stuff than someone else. You have to be really,
Okay.
really strike me hard to be like, okay, yeah, you know, work it out. But with this one right
Yeah.
here, it hit me. I was like, oh wow, that this is my song, and I absolutely adore this song. Absolutely adore. This is the song that if you're gonna play somebody one song and one song only, you have a bunch that you can choose from, I think, but this definitely has to be like up in your top three of choices for sure of songs to play for someone who doesn't Prince or know about this project.
Cameron, go
Mm.
back a little bit. You said if you were gonna play somebody, and then you kind of cut out there, so we didn't catch what you said.
I'm sorry. I was saying if there was any song that you were gonna play for somebody, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
If there's any song off of this album that is like you must play this for somebody for this album, this is one of those songs for sure.
Yeah.
You know, definitely, it has to be like in the top three. Has to be.
Oh, that. Yeah. This is one of my favorites too. I think if I had to pick, this would be up there. Um, yeah, I've heard the original too, and I like that one. It wasn't one that stuck out as a like all time favorite, but then I don't think any particular songs do. I mean, because it depends with me anyway, and I think a lot of people. It depends on your mood and what you know. He's got something for every mood situation. Um, but I think this is a nice, I want to call it a simple song, but I hate to do that, but really it is. It's a simple, cool little smooth groove, and I like the original, but I think I like this one better. I like what he did with this. Like Dimitri said, he didn't take too much away from the original, aside from the main things too. So yeah, it's got to be in the top two for me.
Absolutely.
Okay, June. This is a song that I think a lot of people are trying to dissect, and I think we're overthinking
Like,
it.
like a lot of
So,
Prince songs throughout the years, people dissect it like it's a dead pig on the.
right. So, I mean, I like just as the song from on the surface looking at it, I like the song. I think it's another one of those cool little, um, maybe quirky little grooves. Um, it's something that you sit there and you try to figure out because sometimes it brings something deep to you, but I really don't think it's that deep. I think it's, if anything, I think somebody said something to me about it being like a daydream. So he's doing something, he's cooking pasta, and then he goes off to think about all this other stuff that's flying through his head, and then forgets about the pasta. It's really that simple, I think. But
I I think you're on point with that one, and I've never heard it described like that in the couple weeks it's been out. But I think that's the best, and the best explanation of what you could think the song is about.
mhm.
What I've heard, and
Yeah, I believe it was my friend Samantha that
mm-hmm.
pointed that out. I'll give her credit for that.
Oh, nice, nice. I, for
So,
me,
Dimitri, what do you got to
oh,
say about June? Dimitri,
we have Dimitri.
did he freeze? There he
It's
is.
breaking up, but I can hear you.
Oh yeah, we
Okay,
can see
we
you
see
now.
you.
Um, I would really like to hear a jazz version of that, or just like some real um, like a mellow guitar groove on that track.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm still trying to figure it out my own self. I mean,
Yeah,
spaghetti or no spaghetti. I mean, like, what are you on?
Hey, maybe he just likes pasta. Well, I mean, it's whatever.
I,
It's all
I,
good.
I never pictured Prince as a pasta eater, but you know what? I did him. I eat pasta right along with him. Why not?
There you go. Hey.
I love me some of that. It's funny. I think the thing with that song that really grabs you is just the music itself. It's so sexy and so sensual.
Mhm.
I was
It,
almost at my
yeah.
house. Yeah, I was right by my house, and it was like after 2 in the morning when I heard it. I was finishing with work, and I was like, no, I got to keep driving. I gotta need to keep listening to this because it just caught me with the way of the darkness and the lights, the street lights and stuff. It just fits so perfectly, and I was
Very
and it'll be well. I said,
very
let me running into nothing.
camera.
I I can't hear you, Dorothy.
I think we lost her.
I think yeah, it's her turn to be lost. Oh.
What
God,
can I say? I better not be lost with this computer
I know, right?
Oh,
There- Welcome back.
All right. Overall, what do you guys think of the the production of this album, the kind of new sound, new direction that he's going in with this?
You, you go first, Dimitri.
first of all, let me give a shout out to Rita Ora and Judith Hill. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
you know, it's it's just it's something every album that changes, but then he always leaves his trademark per se
Mhm.
Yeah.
somewhere on the album, and so we just really have to get used to that instead of wishing for 1984 to come back.
Right.
Right.
Um. Go ahead, Cameron. I'll save mine.
I absolutely love this album. It's an album, another one of his albums for me that I can play from start to finish. I do feel like there is a flow. It's more of an electronic kind of flow.
Mm-hmm.
It's different because it's definitely more commercial than the majority of Prince albums he's ever done. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't look at that as a bad thing. I think that it's why not? I mean, that's how he got known in the first place was by becoming commercial to a degree.
Right.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I will also say, because I was thinking about this yesterday, this is one Prince album that I've heard that makes me want to hear more. It's
Okay.
me with that feeling like I need to hear what Phase Two is like. Because
Mm-hmm.
normally with other Prince albums, there's like a finality for me. Like, okay, yeah, I'm satisfied. I'm good.
Mhm.
And not like I wasn't satisfied here. I was, but there was a yearning to hear more, and it was in an excited way. Like, here to this whole hit and run thing that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and it left me just going like, yeah, I need some more of this good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm very happy with the direction that Prince is in right now. I'm very thankful that Josh is a part of his team to help him with the creative process,
Mm-hmm.
and I am I'm looking forward to seeing where the future goes with them and with Prince. Period.
I think that Josh has grown a lot as a producer just in the few years that he's been around, learning from Prince and working with him. Um,
Yeah.
when he first started doing a few little remixes, like he remixed Janelle Monáe and a couple things here and there that we heard. I liked those remixes, so I already liked what he was trying to do. So when I seen that he was a producer on Plectrum Electrum and Artificial Age, I thought that was pretty cool. Um, and I could hear the gradual changes in there. But even with this album, I still think Prince stayed true to himself, because you still hear his trademark sounds in there. You still hear that
Mm.
guitar like we've always heard. So,
Absolutely.
you know, anybody that thinks that this is a no-go album, sometimes with me, I know, especially with some of Prince's music, I always get an album, anybody, I always get an album, I listen to it straight through at least 2 or 3 times. And there's always a few songs that initially I'll want to skip over. But with Prince, just about every song eventually will grow on me. Because no matter how many times you listen to it, you're going to end up hearing something different. Like, especially now, because I've been on this free trial with Tidal, which I think I might have to buy now. But some of the music in hi-fi now, and I'm hearing stuff that I never heard before.
Mm.
So, and that's just the actual music, not so much lyrics and trying to figure it out, nothing like that. So with this album, I think it was a cool project for him and Josh to work on. He really, I think, let Josh um, put his mark on it, which is it's a great opportunity for Josh, because how many people can say that they produced Prince, or
Mm.
let alone produced a whole album for Prince? So,
Mhm.
I mean,
That's a lie.
yeah, it's a big accomplishment for him, and I think he did an amazing job on the album.
I
So,
agree. And I actually find it quite cool that Prince went against, you know, for lack of a better word, status quo, where producers were concerned, because
mhm,
there's so many people that want to work with him. People have made it known throughout the last, 20 plus
Right.
years how much they've wanted to work with him, but yet Prince took someone that nobody knows really, or very few
mhm,
know, and
Mhm.
worked with them, and that is very admirable to do that, because
yeah,
that did to happen. That's in a lot. I remember an article that Questlove had did in regards to how Prince was a lot like hip hop, and one of the things they said was that that hip hop is all about helping your homies rise up and being a
Mhm.
part of what they're doing, and all that. And
mhm,
and they said that Prince is the exact same way, and I think that this is an example of that kind of thing right here.
yeah, definitely. I think he's been doing that now for a few years, and he's kind of gradually moved into this phase in his life and career where he's become a mentor now. And I think that I saw that when he started with Third Eye Girl, because it's a young band, and just like you said, nobody, or at least none of us, really had heard of Hannah or Donna, because we're not necessarily on YouTube looking for them like that. But that's what he did to find them. So
Yeah.
he's always handpicked his people, and he's always handpicked who um, is the best at their craft and can add the feeling, whatever he was looking for to. So I think he did the same thing here, but then now he's looking at the potential part of it too, because now he gets to sit back and teach and watch them grow as musicians, and we've watched them grow. I remember when the first time that we seen anything from them, video wise, and there was a lot of people that were like, no, I don't think this is gonna last too long. They don't like it, whatever.
They're still
You
saying
could
that.
They're still saying that, but that's true. They are still saying that. But if you really take a look at it and try to remain positive instead of just going in and not liking it just because you want to not like something.
Because mm-mm.
I mean, you start from the beginning. What, three or so years ago when they started with him, and you look at him now. There's been a tremendous amount of growth just in each one of those as an individual musician.
Mm-hmm.
And Ida was with him longer, but the other two, especially, and Donna, I gotta say, I mean, you can stage, step back, and let somebody else take the solo or take lead, not like he's done with Donna. And she can bring it, and she holds her own right there next to him. So I mean, I can't. For me personally, I love Third Eye Girl. I love the NPG too, and I do want to see some more stuff with him, but I want to see it with Third Eye Girl incorporated. I don't want to see them get pushed off to the side because we're only seeing the beginning of what they're capable of. So
I've been saying that for a while now. I want to see Third Eye Girl blossom into whatever Prince wants it to blossom into. I don't
mhm,
think they're done, but I also think that there's more with the NPG as well.
mhm,
And I've loved every band. I've loved the NPG. I love the Revolution. There hasn't been a band that he's had that I wasn't down with to some degree. This is just Third Eye Girl's time to shine, and I'm very just curious to see where it all goes from here.
yeah,
Maybe that's a part of phase 2 for all we know. You know, I mean, with Prince,
could be.
God only knows what's going on with that. So,
Yeah. What do you got to say, Dimitri,
yeah,
about the growth that we've seen with
I'm
each
not
year?
about Third Eye Girl.
yeah,
If you haven't seen them live, then you really don't have an appreciation for them.
Right.
amen to that.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, you have to see them live to really, get the gist of, what they are, their vibe, their mesh per se,
Mhm.
um, and then throw Prince into the mix.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know for me, the last show I saw with Prince was with Third Eye Girl and the MPG too, when they were here in New York for City Winery, and I did not think that that was going to be the best Prince show I've ever seen, and I've seen around 20 shows, and
Mhm.
yet I was blown to bits. There
Yeah.
is a tightness and cohesiveness with how they play together and stuff, even with added elements
Mhm.
with horns and keyboards and whatnot. I mean, it was a absolutely magical show, and I'm so glad I was in that room to witness it because it was legendary. You know,
Yeah.
people need to see, especially those that, for all intent and purposes, hating on them. They need to see them. They need to
Mhm.
see they're like, with Prince on the stage. You know,
Yeah. I have yet to see these current NPG horns. I mean, like the full NPG horns that he's got.
Oh, I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah,
it's yeah,
it's something to see.
it really is.
Yeah.
He got them bad boys trained to the T.
Well, from what I've heard of other people seeing them, and from what I've heard just on CDs and stuff, is I mean, he always had horn players that were on point, and I mean, they never missed a beat. So the large horn section that he's got now, I would love to be able to see that because I mean, I don't know if my appreciation for horns comes from my little bit of time playing trumpet, but I know how hard it can be. So to see them and the musical discipline that they have, um, that would be awesome. And you guys have already. I need to see it. I just need to see it.
You do. They are
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, we did.
even though I mean, there wasn't a lot, but the horns that were on the CD, I mean, that added a little bit too. There's always a little bit of something there that, you know, um, like I said, that keeps intact that real music by real musicians. There's the production, which is great production, but it's being produced by a musician too. I mean, people forget, or maybe they don't even want to know that Josh, he's not just a producer that sits back making beats. That he's not that kind of producer. He's a producer that understands music, and that's the kind of person that Prince wants producing his music because that's the kind of person he is. He's a
I'll agree
musician,
with
so
that.
he
100%.
knows what he wants. He knows what he wants to see, and he knows what he wants to hear. So for him to have taken the time to more than likely mentor Josh and tell him the direction that he's going in, um, he's got to have somebody that understands that. And obviously, Josh, he gets it. I mean, I think he gets it because from what we heard on the album, I mean, just add Josh in the mix of the people that he's decided to take under his wing. And I remember seeing someone online, I don't remember who, but they were trying to make the point, like, why does Prince need to be so involved? Like, why doesn't he just produce Third Eye Girl? Well, why not? I mean, it's like a two for one deal with them. They get the one-on-one mentoring from him. They get to learn from a master in that field, and they get to play with him. There's no better way to learn arts like that than to just dive into it and to be able to do it alongside somebody that's mastered everything that you can possibly think of.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some people probably think that maybe Third Eye Girl is another girl group from the '80s or something that he's put together, but it's not. It's totally not that. It's not that. They're not that vibe at all. I mean, these girls have something that can take them a long way, whether they stay together or if they eventually separate or whatever. They have something solid. Their talent, I think, is going to carry them a long way. So that's what I got to say about that.
Absolutely. It just dawned on me too. We did not talk about Fall in Love tonight.
We touched on it, but we didn't. I guess we didn't talk too much about it. So go ahead.
Oh, I was surprised that that song was on there, and I wondered if Zooey Duchamel was going to be on it. But seeing that she wasn't, it made the song brand new again.
True.
And I liked it with her, and I like it without her.
Mm-hmm.
Not no diss on her. I mean, I think the song is a great pop song.
Yeah.
It's a song that would be perfect on a station like Z100 here in New York or KTU, which are the popular top 40 stations in New York City here.
Mm-hmm.
And it would just, I could see kids singing and dancing to this song. And I like the fact that it has that kind of feel to it and it's not cheesy.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a great chorus that you could sing along to and dance to. I mean, how could you sit still to that song?
I mean, there's every song on here really you can't sit still.
Oh,
Well, except
for
for
real. I'd be riding the subway and I'd be just grooving in my seat, grooving on, holding on to the pole. I'd be like, yes, falling. Hoping I don't hit nobody in the process.
I mean, Fall in Love Tonight. I think the one thing that I did say before was that at first I was not sure this was gonna fit too well. It didn't seem like it flowed very well, but I guess maybe it's one of those songs that had to regrow on me. I liked the song from the beginning. I liked it when Zoe was on it too.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of making the flow of it within this album. Um, but I think it works. I mean, I do. I think it works. It is kind of a pop song, and it's one of those songs um, that you could picture hearing on the radio. But then I think a lot of this album is something that you could hear on the radio, and I think that might be one of the points made with this album, is that he could still have that sound, and he can still get on the radio if he wants to, you know.
We just
Um,
need to get on the radio, but that's another topic.
right. That's a whole day
You know, so,
discussion, but yeah, I
but
mean that's the point. It's like I think we lost Dimitri.
we did lose him. It's oh my gosh. Hmm. Interesting. Are you here? I'm here.
Okay, just based on the fact that he he's proven to us that he can get on the radio. He doesn't need to, and he probably doesn't want to, and it really doesn't matter either way.
Hmm.
But you know, but he can if he wanted to.
I
So I
also.
think.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I also want to say too. I think that part of what people I'm hearing that don't like the album, part of why what I hear is that they don't like it because they hear sounds on there that don't sound like, I mean, that sounds like the stuff on the radio that they don't like. And I respect the view, but I also, but like you said, I like the fact. Oh, Dimitri, you're back! Yay. Um, but I like the fact that with with that, in terms of it being commercial, like I said earlier, I love that it is. I like the fact that it's original. It's not
Yeah.
just trying to be, using the same sort of formula that you hear on the radio today with those fake hand claps that pose as beats and
Mhm.
sorts of stuff. I mean, this is, y'all said it best. This is it's still a Prince album with his Prince stamp on it.
Well,
And
here's a point that I want to make. You just somehow or another reminded me
mhm,
when I was in Minneapolis for the three nights of release party stuff. The first night we went through the studio tour, and um, while we were in the studio, Josh was letting us listen to Million Dollar Show, and after that song, Prince called in and said hello to everybody, blah blah blah. Right? It was pretty cool. But then he stopped and he said that he had a question for us. He said, if you didn't know, it wasn't written that there was another know it, and everybody said no. I
could you
think
say that
some
again?
people probably said they said if you didn't know that there was another producer on this album, like if it hadn't been told to you, would you even realize it? And I got to thinking about that after I really took a good listen to the album. And no, you wouldn't, because if you go back to, especially people that were, I know all of us have been around, during the NPG Music Club. All the stuff that was released to us during that time, if you go back and listen to Slaughterhouse or Chocolate Invasion, all that stuff had the same type of sound that you're hearing on this album.
Yeah.
And that stuff was produced by Prince. So, no, it really took a good, yes, it sounded everything. So, that's my point.
Mhm.
Are we still here?
Say something now.
Oh, okay. No, I was done. I made my point.
Oh, oh, okay. Technology today.
I know, right?
God, God, love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I totally, that makes me think about what you said right there. Because a lot of people have said, that those that don't like it have said, the songs that they did like, June seems to be one of the songs that they really like.
Hmm.
And
Right.
it made me wonder, what if Joshua was on that song, on the majority of that song? Will you still be quick to say you to that?
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that there was that kind of flow where you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
People assume,
Mhm.
they're assuming that this is Prince. They're assuming this is Josh. But how do you really know? Why do you need to know?
Yeah.
You,
Well, and then
you
on
know.
Twitter, somebody had asked if why he all of a sudden felt like he needed a producer, and assuming it was Prince. Said that it's not need, it's want, and why he should step back. And like I said, now he's kind of groomed Josh in a way, so he's you know giving somebody else a chance to have a little bit of spotlight and see what they can do. And it's right along the lines of what he's been saying for years. Real music is dying. You don't have so many musicians anymore, especially old school musicians. Some of them are dying off. Some of
Mhm.
them just not playing too much anymore because the money's not there. Nobody's getting good record deals anymore because they're looking for something that's not real music. So if we really want to keep it going, why would we be dissing the people that he's trying to, like the next generation of musicians that he's trying to push to do something great?
Right. Absolutely, and a lot of people talk about, oh, it's too electronic and all that stuff, but and there's not enough instruments and stuff in it. But in my mind, I would also think when you've done when you played every instrument there is to play, why would having electronics in the mix be such a bad thing?
Yeah.
I mean, for crying out loud, wasn't the majority of albums like 1999 and Purple Rain quite electronic driven back then? And
Hmm.
nobody complained about them.
Well, that's what I say. People they love the Lin drum machine. So why is it a problem if he doesn't use the Lin drum machine, but he uses, the computer?
Yeah.
You know, well,
If
it's a different sound, but but it's doing the same. It's serving the same purpose, and it's not taking away from the musicality of anything because he's still in there playing guitar. You still hear him tearing up the bass on, especially on songs like "Ain't About to Stop." I mean, it's still all there, and it's really not as different as people think it is.
no,
They've kind of fooled themselves into thinking that it's so different, but if you really pay attention to what Prince has done over the years, it's not. It's really not. He's done stuff that sounds like this before. He's done stuff that, like you said, even in the '80s, you know, drum machines and synthesizers were the thing back then, and now all of a sudden you think that that's not good enough because he's always talking about real music. Well, it's still real music.
yeah,
A
and there is
synthesizer is a keyboard. I mean, you still got to know how to play it,
yeah, and there's still a new sound to be found. I
right?
mean, whether it blows the world up or not, it should be different to you. It's different to you, and new stuff is still happening. We either go
You
with
know
it.
what I find interesting?
Yeah,
What I find interesting is, I,
Yeah,
I don't really care
and
for the
you know that.
808 and the house type sound, um, the EDM sound, but for whatever reason, he was able to mix that together and put that Minneapolis sound on top of it, and and just come out with something
Hmm.
totally different.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, just right there, it's a whole new sound that's basically born out of that. I mean, so mixing and really dipping into things over here and over there that you never really touched on before, it's not a bad thing. I mean, people
Mm.
think that he's contradicting himself because now this has got such an electronic sound or industrial sound. But I don't think
Please,
he's really
if any,
contradicting. I think if anything, he's just accepted, not accepted. What am I trying to say? He's stepped out of the box a little bit more, and um, he's touched on it to see what he can do with it to make it his own. So instead of just saying, "No, I don't want anything to do with that," then he just opens up to it and then sees, like Dimitri said, what can he do to mesh this stuff together and still have a signature sound in there and still have real musicality in it. And I think he did it great with this album.
I agree. I mean, to the fact that he's been in the game as long as he has and is still finding ways to improve on the sound that he's built upon for so many years. I love that. That's part of why I love Prince so much, is because he's still searching for something new within his music. He could just rest on his laurels and just make the same kind of album over and over again. And I'm glad that he doesn't do that. I really am. I mean, if anyone has the right to use an Apple MacBook in their music, it's him. But I'm glad he don't do it. I really
Right.
am. It just shows how much he loves music, and I'm grateful that he's still sharing new stuff with us that he's creating. I really appreciate that immensely.
And I would rather get an album from him that is experimenting with something new, um, or something new to him, however you want to say it, than to get another anniversary edition of Purple Rain. I mean,
Oh God, yes. Oh,
I love Purple Rain, but how many copies do you need? I'm just saying,
the
like.
The rain has got to stop at some point. It has to stop. I need dry land somewhere, and I love the album that's the album that brought me in terms of you ain't going nowhere from this man. You're gonna be a fan forever until you die. I mean, I love it, and if it's ever remastered, thank God, yay. But that's not my high concern. I, as a fan, want to hear this man continue to create new stuff, to continue to get me excited about what he's doing. That's the stuff that drives me as a fan, and I absolutely, adore having being part of somebody who continues to give us music, 9 times out of 10 every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just awesome. And this right here is just another example of why I love this dude so much and the music that he's made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much that you can do with something that was made 30 some years ago. I mean, to ask any type of artist or creative person to try to stick with something that happened 30 some years ago is just ridiculous.
It's very
they're always trying to find something new and create something new, and the fact that he's still around doing that, like, willingly, and letting us in to hear it, in some cases. I mean, that's I think that's something that some of us appreciate and some people take for granted. And it's sad when it's a case of being taken for granted, because the appreciation coming from, like, us, we want to see it. We want to see what you're going to do next, and even if it's something that right away we don't, we're not really sure what that's all about. Eventually, it grows on you, and you at least can appreciate where he was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'd rather that than to just be thrown out, remastered editions of every album since he started. I mean, it'd be, like you said, it'd be great to have a remastered, but I mean, give me something new. I'm good with that.
Thank you. I ain't got no problem turning up the sound with these old albums if I have to, if I'm going to play them. I will make do. I have been for how many years? I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a journey. I mean, I will take any little bit that you give me because I'm a fan.
Right.
I'm down with that. I mean, if something ever comes out from the vault, again, yay. If something doesn't, okay. My life keeps on going as the world keeps on spinning. And, I still want to see where the next chapter goes. And we're in exciting times right now. I feel like we are.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what happens with this project as time goes on.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned, if he never opened the vault, then I mean, it's neither here nor there. Really. I mean, yeah, we're all curious what he's made over the years that we haven't heard, but not everything is necessarily made for us to hear.
And not it is good. A lot of people have this assumption that everything is going to be golden. Not everything. I'm sure there's some clunkers up in there too.
Right.
Yeah.
No one.
Because I'm sure there was a reason for that stuff to be in the vault in the first place. It's either that he didn't want it out for anybody to hear, he didn't like it, whatever the case, it's in there for a reason. If he decides that he wants to revisit that and take it out and actually give us a chance to hear it, then that's cool. But that's like it's instead of, and half the stuff that's new, maybe that's stuff that came out of the vault, because we really don't know what everything that's in the vault. I mean, 1,000 Hugs and Kisses is a bootleg that came out years ago or whatever, but it's been sitting there collecting dust for how long? And now he decided to bring that one out. Now, how do we know that any of these other songs, isn't something that he pulled out and completely redid? Mm-hmm. So chances are we are hearing some stuff in the vault more often than we know.
Mm-hmm. That goes back to Graffiti Bridge.
Yeah.
Most of that album is vault material.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's like, ooh, it came from the vault. Ooh. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You got a point though. But, so all in all, 1 out of 7 stars. Let's do 7 stars. How many stars did you get the album, Dimitri?
All
He
7.
froze. Oh, all 7. All 7. All right. Cameron?
Mm-hmm. You know what? I don't know why part of me feels like it would be corny to do this, but the reality for me is it's all 7 for me too.
It's not corny.
No, I mean the fact that for me I can play the whole thing from start to finish and want to play it again.
Right.
How could it be anything less than 7?
Yeah. And I don't. Maybe I'm a little biased. I got to hear this on the Paisley Park sound system first, so
Well,
I
you
mean,
were
I was that
about that.
night. I was like 7,000 stars.
I
There
know.
you go. I'm like this it. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm glad that we got a chance to go ahead and post this for all to see. And for those of you that don't know or are not part of the group on Facebook, MPG, go join. Guys, thank you. Oh, we got to give a shout out to Stephanie. She wasn't able to join us.
Yeah, we missed you, Steph.
Love you, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Love you, girl.
Next time, next discussion, we find something to talk about. I'm sure there's always something in the Prince world, but maybe we'll do this again. So until then, thank you guys for joining me in this discussion, and we'll look for it online. See you later.
Bye, everybody.